Good morning, friends. Hopefully, you had a great Valentine's Day yesterday and everybody got to feel some love. Ours was pretty kick ass. It really was. We had a house full by the end of the day and enjoyed a nice evening of just kind of hanging out and being together. The kids got to spend some time with their their closest and personals, and it was good. Hey, man, they bought me this shirt, so I don't want to claim anything about this. It was given to me, so it's someone else's opinion, not mine. Let's clear that up. Anyways, hoping everybody had a great day yesterday, and I'm hoping this finds you well and good and happy and excited to get another crack at it, man. That's what we all have, just the one day. And more to that, when they built me this little space here, obviously they gave me Jack's clothes here. They gave me Bonesy. He's always kind of hanging over my shoulder, and he's got my back. I don't know if that's good or bad, but hey, Bonesy's always here. He's a reliable dude. And they set me up, obviously, pretty well. Sorry, I'm hoping the volume is good. The headset's upstairs, and I've run the stairs enough times this morning already. I'm not chasing it down, so just going to have to do with what we got. Anyways, I digress. When they built me this space, one of the things that we set up down here and Sarah kind of brought down here is this little guy here. And she suggested some time ago that it might be a good idea for me to kind of chat about it. So give me a second. I'm going to roll back there and grab it and show you what we're talking about. I'm going to try and get through this without crying a lot. Show it to you first. And it reads, yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is the only cash you have, so spend it wisely. It's a little wood burning thing that was given to me on my very first year sober by a friend named Paul. And if I can explain to you a little bit about Paul, he's no longer with us. He passed away some time ago, but Paul was a friend in the program. And Paul lived in Amherstburg, and I lived in West Windsor. And Paul would drive from Amherstburg through West Windsor just to pick me up and get my ass to a meeting. If we were going to the salt mine, that means he would come 20 minutes plus from Amherstburg into West Windsor, pick me up, drive another 10 minutes back west to the salt mine meeting, 10 minutes to get my ass home, and then the 25 plus minutes to get his ass back home to Amherstburg. That's how dedicated Paul was to keeping my ass clean and sober back in the day. So when I celebrated 1 year, he gave me this little wood burning. And for whatever reason, he put it in the shape of this little monument. And YTT, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, is what I had inscribed on the back of my first year medallion for exactly this reason. There's a different version of this little idea that floats around out there, and it's far more eloquent and far more well written, but Paul put it in the most basic layman terms right here. Yesterday's a canceled check, tomorrow's a promissory note, today's the only cash we have, so spend it wisely. And I wanted to share this with you guys, mostly because, Sarah suggested it, but also to kind of share with you the kind of passion that a soul like Paul had to keep one drunk sober. There was a program at the time called O.D.A.A.T, I think, and it's a drinking and driving alcohol awareness program, if I'm not mistaken. And it was in the city of Windsor. And what would happen is the city had this program where people who had extensive DUIs or DUIs that were significant, driving while under the influence of alcohol. People who had these charges, when stood before a judge, had the option to have the charge dismissed or expunged from their record if they would have agreed to attend this program. And this program was X amount of weeks, and you were educated on the dangers of alcohol and the dangers of combining alcohol and driving and the dangers of alcohol in long-term abusive situations. And we, as recovering alcoholics, would volunteer our time to engage with these people and give them a chance to kind of connect with us and kind of see our side of the coin. And Paul invited me to this specific program, and I jumped at the opportunity. I went, I think it was 6 or 8 weeks, I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me, but I went every week. Cleared it with Sarah. Paul would pick me up, we would go, we would spend the night at this thing, and it was just one extra thing to do when I was getting sober, to keep my feet wet, to keep me working in the program and working my program. And what I wasn't aware of was that on one night specifically, one of the members or one of the people sponsoring the program would come and make their presentation. And in this case, it happened to be Saul Nosenchuk. I bring that up because when I first got sober, I had, I'm going to guess a number here, don't quote me on it, but something like close to $3,000 worth of fines. And I was facing a license suspension. I was facing a significant impact on my personal life with a very young family and a pregnant wife at the time. So you can imagine being unemployed, having $3,000 worth of fines over my head, possible license suspension, and none of it had to do with drinking and driving. I had no DUIs. I had 4 or 5 moving violations. I'd been busted speeding. I'd had a car accident that I was responsible for. Just all of these things kind of combined into one blistering pile of stress in my life in that first year that I got sober. And that's par for the course. Quite often you get sober and you make these decisions to change your life, and all of this stuff kind of throws itself into the mix and becomes very overwhelming, and we have to work through it and figure out how to continue to stay sober in spite of it all and work our program. And that's what I was facing. And I digress a little bit, but follow me, please. So what I was left with was a decision to go before a judge and plead my case and tell the truth and ask for a little bit of leniency to get these fines paid. And my day in court came, and one of Sarah's friends offered to drive me to court while she stayed home. Sarah stayed home with the kids, and I had my day in court. And who was the judge that I would be standing in front of but Saul Nosenchuk? And this is long before I were to attend the program. Either way, I go before Mr. Nosenchuk, and I expressed to him that I had found an opportunity to go back to school to get my grade 12 diploma in a brand new education system that was being offered by the separate school board at St. Clair College, St. Mike's adult education program. I expressed to him that I had been working to change my life, and Mr. Nosenchuk simply said, "So you're going to get yourself a diploma?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I will." And he said, "And you're staying sober a day at a time?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "And I'm never going to see you back in my courtroom again, am I, Mr. Cadet?" And I said, "No, sir, you will not." And he dismissed everything. I went in there to ask for an opportunity, and he quite literally gave me that and more. And it was an overwhelming moment for me. I was knocked out with this wonderful opportunity this man had given me. Just cleaned everything up, wiped it away with a move of his hand, and I was so grateful. And I've never looked back. Jump ahead to the opportunity I had with Paul. Here I was working as a volunteer to share my time and my stories and my opportunities to change with these people coming into this program. And I feel like we had certainly made an impact, at least with a couple of the people that were there. And in walks Saul Nozenchuk. And I was overwhelmed. And I went directly toward him and I shook his hand and he kind of looked at me, and then the recognition came across his face and he was so happy to see me, and we shared a moment and it was fantastic, and I was given the opportunity to say thank you to him, to show him that indeed his decision wasn't wasted. And what a blessing it was to bring that full circle for me. And what a blessing it is now to think that that moment of gratitude I was able to share was because Paul wanted so desperately to give me a chance to see that there was life without alcohol. There was life beyond my brokenness. And with that, every day I'm reminded that yesterday it's a canceled check. Tomorrow it's a promissory note. And today is the only cash we have. So I must choose always to spend it wisely. And I hope there's some cohesiveness with that for you guys, man. I know it was a long way to get around to get that story wrapped up, but I wanted to share it with you, and I wanted to thank Sarah for giving me the chance and reminding me how important this thing is, and why it sits behind me every single time I'm down here. So I'm going to hit the stop button, and I'm going to say thank you for today and look forward to tomorrow. It works if we work it, friends, one day at a time.